to recording. Well, I hit the record button and I said that, but that's going to be in the podcast because I ain't cutting it out. But guys, welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality Podcast. If you're listening on the podcast, if you're listening in the Facebook group, welcome to another episode or another piece of the puzzle of Powerhouse Training. Now, of course, as per tradition, we are going to crack open a cold one. And tonight we have what's the other brand? Not Topo Chico. I'm sorry, I was on a Topo Chico run because I get whatever's on sale at the grocery store, and Topo Chico was on sale. But this week, LaCroix was on sale. So we have a tangerine LaCroix that we're going to crack open here. And let me tell you, these are really good. Delicious. Naturally essenced. Naturally essenced. All right, guys. Well, let's get to the value on this podcast because we like to play around on this podcast. We like to have a good time, not just on the podcast, but on the training because I want to show you guys that, number one, I'm a real human being with real human emotions and I have real human comedy to me. Maybe some may find my comedy to be a little bit dry, but I have fun with life. But we also want to get down to business and we want to get results and we want to provide value. And tonight we're going to talk about limiting beliefs. And I've spoken about limiting beliefs on the podcast before. However, I think it's such an important thing to speak on because most of us aren't where we want to be in life because of limiting beliefs. And maybe you've heard of limiting beliefs or maybe you haven't. But tonight you're going to learn all about what limiting beliefs are, what some of the most common limiting beliefs are, some that relate specifically to a health and fitness journey, because I know that most of you are on one of those, and most importantly, why they're caused and how we can improve them. Thumbs up. So, if you're listening to this on the live, I want you to comment down below if you know what a limiting belief is, or if you've ever experienced one, if you know what it is. Now, the reason why I titled this, Put Out the Fire to Stop the Smoke, is because when we think of an analogy when it comes to a fire and a smoke, if we just spray water at the smoke, nothing's going to happen, right? The fire's not going to go out and we're not going to prevent any damage from being done. However, if we spray the water and we put out the fire, then we're actually going to be able to move forward, make progress, and the damage will stop, right? Now, I use this analogy a lot when it comes to losing body fat and building muscle because obesity is the smoke, but being under-muscled is the flame. So if we can build more muscle, we're going to improve our metabolism and we're going to be able to lose body fat, which is going to help with preventing obesity, okay? Now, how I can relate this to limiting beliefs is that your excuses are the smoke. I don't have enough time. I'm too tired. All of that, whatever, insert excuse here, right? Whatever you have, because we all have one. But the limiting beliefs is the flame. So what a lot of us do is we try to spray water at the excuses to try to help us move forward. However, we're just literally throwing mud at the wall and hoping that something works. What we need to do instead is we need to do the inner work to address the limiting beliefs to help us overcome those limiting beliefs and reframe them so that we can actually believe in our ability to earn results. What most people do when they start a fitness journey is they see progress and then they self-sabotage. And generally the reason why they self-sabotage is because of these limiting beliefs. And unless you overcome and put out the limiting beliefs and reaffirm them with something more positive, you're never going to be able to get to where you want to go because you're never going to be able to build the belief and confidence in yourself to get it done. There's a quote that I love from one of my favorite books, The Magic of Thinking Big. And it's, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So if you have zero belief that you can achieve something, your mind is going to do everything possible to prove you right. Versus if you truly believe that you can accomplish something, your brain again will also do everything possible to make sure that's proven correct. So if you believe in yourself, you're more likely to actually achieve something. Use this example with, if you've ever done a heavy back squat before and you're going for a 1 rep max, it could be a back squat, it could be a press, it could be a deadlift, bench press, whatever you want it to be. If you were to go up to that bar and in your head you're already telling yourself, there is no way I will hit this, I bet you won't hit that lift no matter how strong you are. However, if you walk up to the bar and you say, hey, I'm going to hit this, and you even visualize yourself hitting it and manifest that shit, and you're putting in the effort behind it, you're more likely to try harder during the lift because you have the belief and your brain isn't saying, well, why should we even bother trying if we know we're not going to do it? You're going to hit that lift, or you're going to be more likely to hit the lift. So excuses are the smoke, but the limiting beliefs are the flame. And in order for us to move forward, see progress, and be able to accomplish our goals, we need to address the flame. So we need to address the limiting beliefs. Now, what the hell is a limiting belief? Some people listening, you might know damn well what a limiting belief is. However, a lot of people might not. So I'm here to help guide you. A limiting belief is a thought or a state of mind that you believe or you think is absolute truth. However, this thought or state of mind restricts you in some way. Think of it almost as like judgment of self. And these limiting beliefs can keep you in a negative state of mind and hinders you from taking action, encountering new opportunities and experiences, and making a change, while usually wreaking havoc on your mental health. So with that definition, a lot of you might think, I might know what a limiting belief is, but I don't know if I have one, or I'm not too sure because it's a little bit broad, right? But let me give you some common examples that I'm sure you'll immediately be able to relate to. Probably the most common limiting belief that I hear, and that I've told myself many, many times, is I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve this, or I don't deserve success, or I don't deserve happiness. I'm too old, or I'm too young. I'm not smart enough. I'll never be successful. I'll never be able to do this or that. If I try, I'll probably fail. Yeah, I'm a failure. I'm a loser, whatever. We've all spoken shit at ourselves. But why, right? Now, those are the most common examples that I'm sure most of you are like, oh yeah, I do that all of the time. How did you know? Now, if we want to relate it to health and fitness, we can get a little bit more specific, right? I'm not athletic, so I'll never get fit. Why bother trying? I've never been able to stick to the diet. I've never been able to stick to the workout program, so why even bother trying? I have a slow metabolism. That's my favorite. You don't. Others are going to judge me. And all of these things are pain points, right? They're giving you some sort of physical or emotional pain that's preventing you from making the change that you want to make so desperately. You want to lose the weight. You want to build muscle. You want to be healthier. But for some damn reason, you can't do it. And a lot of the times it comes back to these things that we're saying to ourselves, the way that we're talking to ourselves. The way that you talk to yourself matters. And I think that a lot of people don't realize how much it actually matters. If I'm constantly telling myself that I'm not good enough, then why would I even bother trying to become a better version of myself? I'm not good enough, so why even bother trying? It's a waste of my time, right? If I don't deserve success or happiness, then why would I even bother trying to be successful? Why would I even trying to build a business or become the best coach possible? Why would I even bother trying to become a CrossFit athlete if I don't think that I'm athletic enough to do it? These are all pain points. And another super common one that I'm sure every single one of you have said to yourself is, I need to be perfect in order to succeed. And that is 100% false. Nobody is perfect. We are humans. We all come with flaws, and that's what makes us unique. And that's what makes us great. If we were all perfect, we'd all be robots, and that's not fun. I'm weird, I'm unique, and I embrace it. I used to not. I used to think that same thing, is that I need to be perfect in order to succeed. But the most successful people are the ones who fail the most, because they learn from those experiences and it allows them to move forward. Now, where do these limiting beliefs come from? And if you're listening to this, I want you to drop below what your limiting belief is. What's your top limiting belief? The most common thing that you tell yourself that's restricting you from taking action. Put it down in the comments below. Let's get real. If you're listening to this podcast, I want you to write it down on a piece of paper. If you're driving, please, for the love of God, do not stop and write it on a piece of paper, okay? Let's be safe. Now, what causes these things? Okay, because we know what they are, we know what some examples are, but why the hell do we have them? Now, they all come from tons of different places, but they all stem from the same area, which is your brain is trying to protect you from pain in the future. And those places could be fear, right? Fear can be painful. Imposter syndrome. I'm sure a lot of you deal with that. And the biggest place that these limiting beliefs come from is from your past experiences. So at some point in your life, usually at a young age, and they evolve throughout your life, somebody made you feel like you're not good enough. Or some situation made you feel like you're not good enough. So for some reason, you hung on to that, because as humans, we usually focus on the negative over the positive, unfortunately. Yay, humans. But you held on to that, and again, it evolved throughout your life. All right, and it evolved to hold you back from taking action on the things that you know that you need to do in order to move forward, but you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough because somebody or something made you feel that way. You keep telling yourself you're a loser because somebody or something made you feel like that, and you're hanging on to it. So what we're going to have to do in order for you to let go of that, is to break the cycle or break that habit. And it's going to take time. It's not going to be easy. You're not going to snap your fingers or scream a positive affirmation at the mirror, I'm good enough, and it's going to work. That doesn't work unless you back it up with action, right? You can scream affirmations in the mirror until you break the fucking mirror. But if you don't actually back up those affirmations with action, then you're literally just screaming lies at yourself. And you're going to feel worse about yourself because you're lying to yourself. So instead of just screaming affirmations at the mirror, we need to be able to back those things up through action. All right, so here's 4 steps to break the cycle, break the habit of your limiting beliefs. And again, building new habits, breaking old habits is a very hard process. You have to be very deliberate with it, and you have to understand that it is a journey and it's going to take time. But progress will happen if you stay consistent, as with everything. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be consistent. Number 1, first we have to identify and write down what those limiting beliefs are. I'm a huge fan of writing them down because it brings them to life and it brings you fully focused on them. There's something about putting pen to paper that I really just fucking vibe with. Identify them, write them down. Now, here's the important thing here, is you have to be 100% honest with yourself throughout all of these steps. If you're allowing fear or doubt to get in the way of you being honest with yourself, you're going to mess this up and you're not going to be able to move forward. So, journal, document what those limiting beliefs are and when they arise. When are these things coming into your head? When are they holding you back? Write that down. Let's figure this out. Once you're aware of them, you move on to number 2, and you assess the accuracy. Again, you have to be 100% honest with yourself. And sometimes it helps to bring in somebody else for this piece of the process. Somebody that you trust, who's very close to you, who knows you more than anybody. All right? To help you analyze the validity of these statements. If you're saying, I'm a loser, or I'm a failure, is that actually true? Like, do you always fail? Do you always lose? I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure you've won at something. I'm sure you've done good at something, right? There is always something. And you need to make sure that you are assessing the accuracy of that statement very, very deeply because, again, limiting beliefs, they are also called false beliefs. Number 3 is you need to positively affirm something. Okay, so you have to take the limiting belief and you have to turn it into a positive affirmation. Transform it. All right, so you have to turn the negative thoughts into positive beliefs. How we do that is through reframing. All right, so reframing is taking an idea and kind of flipping it on its head. So if you use the example of, I'm not naturally athletic, so I'm not going to become fit, you could reframe it by saying, everybody starts somewhere. I can improve my fitness with consistent effort and find things that I enjoy with fitness. All right, another limiting belief is, I've never been able to stick to a diet or an exercise routine. Great, well, each attempt teaches you more about what works and what doesn't work, and you can create a plan that actually fits your lifestyle better each and every time. eating healthy is too expensive. Cool, well, you can make budget-friendly choices like buying things on sale, buying in bulk, buying seasonal fruits and vegetables. There's always a solution, right? No problems, only solutions. And that's kind of what reframing is. All right? I have a slow metabolism. Well, metabolism is 100% influenced by lifestyle choices. So you can focus on building a healthy metabolism through building muscle, right? There's always a solution. So if you keep telling yourself you're not good enough, you need to reframe that with, hey, what are the things that I am good at? Like, what are the things that I'm proud that I did? Which is why for most of my clients, or for all of my clients, I ask them, hey, what are you most proud of from today? Or what are you most proud of from this week? Because I want them to focus on the positives, right? And the fourth and final step to this is don't quit. Like I said, this will take time. And you will never fail. You will never be weak unless you throw your hands up and quit. Understand that you're going to mess up. You're not going to be consistent with it 100%. You're not going to be perfect. But if you don't quit, you're going to be fine. And you're not alone on this journey. Everybody has these limiting beliefs. Everybody experiences this. You're not alone. It's tough, it's challenging, but you can handle it. And if you need help, if you need one-on-one guidance and accountability, I'm here. This group is here. Take advantage of it. All right? Now, I hope that this training was helpful for you guys. The most important thing that I want you to remember is that limiting beliefs are restricting you from taking action towards building the life that you want. If you can fix these limiting beliefs and reframe them, you're going to be able to get everything that you want out of life, because how you speak to yourself matters, and it matters more than you could ever possibly imagine. So go out today and do one thing that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be, and I'll check in with you guys next week for the next Powerhouse training.